Bonjour and welcome to 18th century France. You're joining us for Dice and Easy's first... no, we're not doing a language session. I'm not going to teach you how to speak French. Because,
please don't. It's about 7 words.
Yeah, discotheque is about as best as I go. But we are playing something slightly different than normal today. We are going back as historical as you get, Richard.
This is as historical as I get. Yes, this is definitely true.
So we're playing Osprey games as fantastic silver bayonet. We're going to go full Gothic, which feels weird in a bazillion degrees heat that we're currently in.
Yeah, very spooky time of the year.
Spookiest time of the year. But yeah, so based on the confirmed kill from the rulebook, except instead of being in the forest, we are going into the town because our good friend Ian
has very kindly lent us some awesome terrain, which you'll see in a second. It's all handcrafted foam buildings. I'd be an idiot to turn down that offer. So we're doing it in a village.
In a village. So
a French village, right?
Yeah. Sacre bleu. Yeah.
There you go, demonetised and cancelled, thanks Paul.
So join us as we get spooky, as we get shooty, and as I introduce Richard to the joyousness of Georgian world. We are playing confirmed kill in a village, so we have objective markers running down the middle, and we don't know what those objectives are until we get to them and we use the card mechanic to find out what's underneath them. Richard has chosen to deploy over the back here and to come in from the side past the wizard's tower and what looks like some kind of keep. It's stunning, whatever it is.
Yep.
In the middle, we have an unidentified, creepy little creature who is causing chaos, and there might be some more coming in as the turns go on. The French, being the garrison, are coming from here, the fields. Who knows what they've been doing in those fields, but they are here and ready to investigate and find out why the Brits are here. Richard's Brit force is a little bit more elite than mine. You might recognise some, not historical characters, but some characters.
Fictional historical.
Fictionally historical, and then mine is very standard to kind of match with where we are. They are very normal soldiers and guards led by the local gentry who is a paranormal investigator. So we will roll for initiative. Total normal, yes. We will roll for initiative and we'll get the first turn started. That's the end of our turn one. Both Richard and I have moved. The French have, not particularly quickly, but we've kind of tried to move up into the middle to have a look at those tokens and see what's going on. Richard, you've also moved up.
Yeah, I've tried to be a little aggressive, but you've got to roll to see if you can sprint, so not everybody made it. I do have a goblin issue, but also unidentified creature issue in the middle here, which Sharp will have to deal with. Sorry, not Sharp, don't get sued.
Captain Blunt.
Sure, brilliant, I love that. And I set somebody up as a sniper behind the wall because A, he has a good long range, and B, it looks really cool.
It does look really cool. So we will see what happens in turn two. Turn two, we're moving thick and fast through this. So
yes.
The French, again, we've moved up and haven't really done anything. We're positioning ourselves for a surgical strike later on.
We're playing the objective pool, which is technically how you win games.
However, Richard has been doing some shooting.
I love this smoke edition to mark that he's fired. Yeah, he's in a good position to snipe between the rocks and the buildings to do 8 points of damage to this 10 hit point dude. So a palatable hit. And Sharp is still engaged in combat with the goblin because they're actually harder to kill than you think.
Who'd have thought it?
And yeah, similarly troubles over here. I am not entertained. I expected to cut that goblin down earlier, but no such joy.
No. Right, on to round three.
I've got goblin problems, Paul.
Yeah. The end of turn three, and man, goblins are a pain in the bum. So, quite a bit of fighting happened in this turn. Down here, Harper took up a firing position up the top here and used his volley gun to shoot at up to 3 people. So both these, the Frenchmen took lots of mini bullets to their face. Unfortunately, he has a goblin admirer who is not leaving him alone, so Rich will have to deal with that later. Captain Blunt here is being a little bit sneaky. We've got another goblin that's come on from this side of the table this time, so it will make its way towards the closest unit.
Visible enemy model, which is you at the moment.
I'm just going to go over here. On the other side, things got a little bit spicy over here, didn't they, Richard? So yep. your sailor, Lucky Jack,
finally dispatched a goblin after way too much mucking about. It's taken a heinous amount of damage in the process, but he's eyeing up that objective, and my doc managed to nip in there while everyone was busy, investigate the objective, but now stands the high probability of being shot by lots of different people. So yeah, maybe a bit of a vulnerable position, but I found some runes marked on the floor, so that was useful.
It was, and it gave you an extra dice, didn't
I got
it?
an extra dice to use, which I then spent for the killing of said goblin, so it's definitely worth it. But we've got 3 more tokens to check now, because one of them is definitely got to be that corpse of the signet ring.
Hopefully.
We interrupt a turn to bring you news that, this guy found a spooky tree in the middle of town that we didn't know was there. Is he scared, Paul? Because that's a thing.
It's a thing. We're doing a terror chest.
Terror chest.
Terror check. And we roll on the terror check table. It's 2d6, and we see what happens, because he has a modifier of nothing.
Okay, this is going to end well for him, potentially. 14.
14, so 11 plus, no effect. The figure is unfazed and takes no penalties.
Excellent. He needs to get the hell out of there, and I need to not run around that corner. And it does leave us with only 1 token, which we now know is the quarry.
End of turn 4, we saw the tree pop up and try and terrify the Frenchman to no avail, so he'll now have to shift around the tree. Over here, there was a shot on the shadowed goblin, which managed to go over the goblin's head and do absolutely no damage, so cue angry goblin running at me in the next turn. My paranormal investigator tried to run away from the big Irishman there, but didn't manage to complete a sprint, so he's now stood out in the open for goodness knows what is going on. Bit more battle over here. The goblin with an axe chopped through another Frenchman, and that is 2 of my models now gone. In the middle here, Rich.
The doc got a bit handsy with his pistol and knocked 9 of your 10 hit points off, which was pretty rough.
I'm hoping he'll heal me in the next turn.
I mean, he's a doctor. He would feel guilty, I think, if he didn't.
It's his hippopotamus oath, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is, Paul. That's exactly what it is.
Your sailor here has tactically withdrawn.
Yes, he's nearly dead, so hanging around didn't seem like the best idea.
Nope. And then in the middle, in the most sort of epic Hollywood style, Harper.
He's running away from the goblin. He ran past an infantryman who charged around the mausoleum corner to take on my grenadier, and unfortunately, we just revealed him there, got killed. And
But he vaulted from the stairs.
It was pretty heroic looking, yeah.
Running away from the goblin. I mean, tactically withdrawing from the goblin.
And he's getting some covering fire from the rifleman at the back as well, which is nice, shooting up that goblin. We initially thought goblins weren't that bad, and then they've killed one of your guys and seriously maimed mine, so maybe we should be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, after going, what's the point of monsters? They don't do anything. Yeah, they do. They
really do.
They really do. Cool. Right, on to turn 5. We know where the signet ring is. It's now just a race to see who can get to it and get off the board. But there is a goblin here, which might cause a bit of problems, and we have 1 more goblin left to come onto the table.
Wonderful.
Monster phase in round 5, and unfortunately Richard's captain here was the closest to both the goblins, so they both moved to attack, didn't they, Richard?
Yeah, he's so close to the board edge with the objective, and then he got murked by 2 goblins, knocking 10 of his 13 hit points off. But he's a hero, so he drew sword, fended them off, and then ended up stabbing both of them to death, which worked out quite well for him, apart from the heinous amounts of blood that he's probably lost.
It's a good job they're not Urukai, because that always ends badly with this particular person, doesn't it?
There's only 2 of them, Paul, not 3.
Turn 5 rundown, and a lot happened, Richard, didn't it?
It really did. So obviously we covered the goblin fight, but we've got a spooky ghost causing all sorts of troubles over here. That's not great. We have Harper in the middle did some great shooting to cover the dash, but is now being pot-shotted by your paranormal investigator with his pistol.
Leon Le Spooky.
Very lordly.
Richard managed to roll a double 10, so we had another monster appear on the table.
Yeah, rolling
This is one of the living scarecrows, who is dressed like Mr. Todd.
Love it.
And it would matter if we were trying to get off of this side of the table,
No,
but
we're
it's too little too late. During the monster phase, the goblins just moved to attack, and these two fought each other, and nothing much happened. And this little fella snuck up behind and tried to shank the Frenchman in the back, and nothing happened. Rich?
I'm trying a little covering fire for your Frenchman that's fleeing for some unknown reason. I just wanted to shoot the goblin, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Grenadier. Thank you.
And the captain is running away because he's new there.
There we go. So we're going into turn 6.
If you get priority, you can save the game. If I get priority, I believe I'm just going to leg it off the board with the signet ring.
All
Richard, leave you to your fate.
All Richard needs to do is leave the board, so it comes down to initiative.
Woof. High pressure.
Okay, this is the initiative roll for turn 7, the all-important initiative roll. Whoever gets priority goes first.
Okay, so you go then, Paul.
So I have got a score of 10.
That is a 10. We roll again.
Roll again.
High pressure.
Oh.
Okay, this time I get a 2. That's more than a 2.
I get 16, but we get an unexpected event happening because you rolled a double 1.
Oh dear.
End of turn 7, and oh no, Richard.
It went horribly wrong. Paul snagged that priority, popped around the corner, shot him square in the face. I attempted to damage reduce, which did not reduce the damage enough, and I died. Dropped the ring. You were all over it now, you're an investigator. We've got goblin problems still. They killed another one of your dudes.
Yeah, these goblins are brutal. This one down here, yeah.
So, yeah, it's now a dash for the objective by Paul and I. You're a little closer and have more dudes, but you have a ghost on your tail, so it could go any way.
Ghost on my tail. Here we go. Turn 8. And it's fast and furious, isn't it, Richard?
It's getting dicey over here, yes. I've attempted to stop you from escaping with some shots to your back that all missed and getting lined up for some more shots. And now I have goblins to deal with again. So they may help you out here, Paul.
They haven't helped me at all.
They've killed all your dudes!
They have, actually, they've done more damage to my forces than I think all of your people combined together.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
But for the plus side is that Leon the Spooky has the signet ring, and I just need to get off the table here.
I think once again it's an on-camera priority roll, right? Because if you get it, you're just off and gone. So, you want to go first?
Go on then.
As you are technically in a good spot.
20! Yes!
I mean, you win, but also something happens.
Yeah, I think...
But unless they arrive directly on the board edge, I think it doesn't matter. So let's just see what happens.
See what happened.
So we had this Revenant appear here. Paul is so close to the edge of the table to get off, but he does need to roll for a sprint, so he's got a target of 11. Show us those wonderful rolls, Paul. That is a 10.
No!
That is one less than an 11. So he's still there, and now monsters are going to come into play, plus I've got a dude up here, so yeah, let's see how that goes.
Well, it has all come down to the one thing that is totally outside of mine and Richard's control. The monsters have finally come to my aid after murderizing every single character that I have. The Revenant here came on at the beginning of the turn, stormed up the hill, and has just chopped up Richard's rifleman.
He was primed to shoot your guy with the signet ring. Probably missed, but he was primed to at least take a shot, and now he's been denied that. Your guy got ghosty touched, but nothing bad happened.
Got the ghost touch, yeah.
And the rest of my stuff is too far away with the pistol or now engaged with goblin activity with the grenadier. So that is a firm victory to you, Paul, as your character is now able to get off the board next turn without any issues. Well played, man. Well, thanks for introducing me to that game, Paul, because that was actually a hell of a lot of fun.
It really was.
Very thematic. I love the little puffs of smoke for firing your weapons that you can't fire every turn, so there's a lot of forward planning needed, and you feel like the guys are actually wielding muskets and just plain swords, no fancy business, no high-tech nonsense.
I love that it's the cotton wool that's brought you to the historical side.
That's what sold me instantly. Simple as that. No, great game, and I love the investigation side and the fact you don't know where it's going to be, and that the monsters come on and mess with the game, so it's not just you versus your opponent. In fact, a couple of times we kind of had to help each other out, because otherwise we were going to both be in a bad spot. Yeah. So yeah, really, really, really sold on this as a game to play. A nice little thematic, story-driven skirmish game.
I think that's the sort of the plus point. It's the story side of things. It has a campaign builder in it. I think if you got to know your crew and built up points and built up sort of the stories, you could have a really good long-term game.
Definitely.
White Shark Gaming, thank you so much for
Ian sorted us out with that terrain. It's so good.
It made it look really cool, and I think the more terrain the better. We didn't have enough. We
could do more next time.
Yeah, more buildings.
More. Come in and get busy.
Try Silver Bayonet. It is well worth a go.
Yeah,
I'm sure fun. There are things that we didn't do properly, or we might have forgot.
Us make mistakes.
That's the way we roll. Join us again soon. We'll do some more bite-sized back reps, and we'll see you then.
See you guys.